We'll take a minute or two. We'll spotlight you on the Krishna Balram, right? So. Spotlight chesara.
I don't see that option.
When we do the participants icon, akkada right click just the spotlight.
Yeah, I don't see Prabhu now. Make host.
I think only video chestanu vastadu anukunta. Interesting. I also don't know.
Screen.
Hmm?
I'm sharing the screen. That will be. Are you're logged in computer or?
No, don't share the screen, Prabhu. Just we'll keep the image. That's all. Okay, that's fine, Prabhu. We'll leave it like that. Okay. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uthapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gaura Bhaktiranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Text 46. Pradhanyato yanarusha atman amanante Lila Vataram Purushasya Bhumna Apiyatam Karnakashaya Soshan Anukrimisyeta Iman Supesan Pradhanyato yanrusha amanante Lila Vataran Purushasya Bhumna Apiyatam Karna Kasaya Soshan Anukrimisyeta Iman Supesan. Why the spotlight is not coming? Turn on the video.
Now I can do this.
Yeah, can you do it now, Prabhu? Yeah. Okay, we'll go. Pradhanyato, chiefly, Yan, all those, Rushe, O Narada, Amananti, worship, Leela, pastimes, Avataran, incarnations, Purushasya, of the personality Godhead, Bhumna, the Supreme, Apiyata, in order to be released by you, Karna, ears, Kashaya, fall matters, Soshan, that which evaporates, Anukramishe, shall states one after another, they, Iman, as they're in my heart, Su, Pesan, all pleasing to hear. O Narada, now I shall state one after another the transcendental incarnations of the Lord, known as Lilavataras. Hearing out their activities, contracts, all foul matters accumulated in the ear. These pastimes are pleasing to hear and are to be released, and therefore they are in my heart. Purport. As it is said, as it was said in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam 158, one cannot be fully satisfied by hearing unless until one is given a chance to hear of the transcendental activities of the Lord. So, Brahmaji is also trying in this verse to stress the importance of narrating the transcendental pastimes of the Lord as he comes and manifests himself here on the surface of the material planets. Every living entity has a tendency to hear pleasing messages, and as such, almost every one of us is inclined to hear news and talks broadcast by the radio stations. But the difficulty is that no one is satisfied at heart by hearing all those messages. The cause of such dissatisfaction is the incompatibility of the message within the innermost stratum of the living soul. The transcendental literatures is especially prepared by Srila Vyasadeva to give the utmost satisfaction to the people in general by narration of the activities of the Lord as instructed by Sri Narada Muni to Srila Vyasadeva. Such activities of the Lord are principally of two varieties. One concerns the mundane manifestation of the material creative force, and the other deals with his pastimes in the form of different incarnations in terms of the time and place. There are innumerable incarnations of the Lord, like the waves of the river flowing constantly in and out. Less intelligent persons take more interest in the creative forces of the Lord in the material world. And being disconnected from their relationship with the Lord, they put forward many theories of the creation in the name of scientific research. So the devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces were concurrently by the action reaction of the material and the devotees of the Lord, however, know well how the creative forces work concurrently by the action and reaction of the material energy of the Lord. Therefore, they take more interest in the transcendental activities of the Lord as he incarnates himself on the surface of the material world. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of such activities of the Lord, and people who take interest in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam clear their hearts of the accumulated mundane filth. There are 1,001 rash literatures on the market, but one who has taken interest in the Srimad Bhagavatam loses all interest in such filthy literatures. So, Brahmaji is thus attempting to narrate the principal incarnations of the Lord so that they may be drunk by Narada as transcendental nectar. So far, Lord Brahma was going on establishing that how he was not supreme. And to Narada Muni, Narada Muni asked Brahma that you are such a wonderful person. Then the things, the creations that is going on under your leadership is like unbelievable. My God, you are such an almighty person. And but we also get sometimes the doubt because you are also doing some tapasya. some meditation and some sacrifice, we were also getting a doubt. It looks like there is someone else. Could you please help us understand? And Brahmaji very nicely tells, for sure, my dear Narada, no wonder you're thinking like that. It's true. Anyone under the control of the metal energy, they're going to see this illusion. Then he was explaining very systematically how there is someone behind him, and he is only doing rediscovery part, that too inspired by that someone, and even the ability, inspiration, and even the supervision is under that someone, that is Almighty Lord. So far he has been telling all that, right? About the metal manifestation. So at this point he came to the point, come on, wait, Narada, there is much more wonderful things. I'm going to tell those to you. And then now he is coming to pradanyata yanarasa amananti. Pradanyata, there are like chief activities of the Lord. Rasha amananti, that are worthy of worship. Leelavatara Purushasya Bhumna, that is his Leela pastimes. Avatarna, Leelavatarna Purushasya Bhumna. So may you relish api yatham karna, in order to be relished by you. The way the relish is going to happen is karna kashaya sosha. It is important for us, like one way Prabhupada is telling, one whoever takes interest in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they will give up the interest in mundane, filthy literatures. But we also find ourselves that we are not able to stop ourselves checking the WhatsApp, or going. Actually, checking WhatsApp is one thing, but we do go and take shelter of WhatsApp and Facebook and so on. Or news or whatever, different people have different varieties, especially some videos. My teacher one time told the effect of the videos, the power of the videos. Power of the videos is the frames are moving pretty constantly on a speed, so it just draws the mind. What's there, what's next. The mind goes on like that, and then it is hard to come out. So we find ourselves, we are not able to give up those mundane filth. We are a little bit giving up. We know that it's a filth, and then it's not satisfying, and we come back to Srimad Bhagavatam. But there is also that that full shelter is also not there. All the Prabhupada is saying here that one cannot be fully satisfied, or this literature given by Vyasadeva, which is like core essence and sweetness of all the knowledge outside, they are not getting drawn to it also. So in this respect, I want to share two highlight things. After that, I want to ask you all to contribute something so that we can have some discussion. So the two highlight things is very wonderful verse I was hearing. It is from the 11th canto, 28th chapter, 2nd verse. It was very inspiring. So that verse says, you give any attention to anything. It can be, prasansati, nindati. anything and anyone. You give attention in terms of praising or in terms of criticizing, not liking and so on, to anyone or anything in this world. So what will happen is one will fall down. Swartha, it can be taken as self-realization or one self-interest or time with Krishna. So one will fall down from Swartha. So where we will fall down into is asati, this temporary and limited. Temporary and limited. And what will happen? Are we just just stay there, fall down in the asati? So it doesn't stop there. Actually, we get entangled. Abhiniveshataha. So basic idea is that a simple example was given is you're trying to make a decision whether to do this or not do this. An example is you're trying to go for a medical treatment. So you're thinking whether you want to go for Ayurveda or whether you're going to go for allopathy. So the teaching from this verse is whatever decision you want to make, do it, come to it quickly. Because if we give more time, that means that is what called swad. They will be losing touch. We are giving the position of a value that like that of to Krishna to this thing. It's for sure going to end up in prajalpa and then mundane talk, even in the decision making, not just with the people. Actually, mundane talk. After mundane talk goes to the next one. It goes is blasphemy, and next one it goes is offense, and then we get tied up. It was so nice. It was 11:28 to parasabhava karmani ya prasansati nindati. Then we fall into swartha, into asati, and abnivishata. So that the correlation to this discussion here, the purport in what Prabhupada is telling is, yes, we are not. These literatures are the most sweetest, but we are not able to bring our faith. But we also have to know that when we go to the other things, it is helping us, go away from Krishna, and not only go away from Krishna, but fall into the limited and temporary, and not only making us fall there, but also get entangled. And the second part I was hearing, that's another inspiration, is that in relation to the Lila Avataras here, what Brahma is telling. So the second part is Brahma is going to come in the 9th chapter. Brahma is talking with the Lord. He did the tapasya. He gets the darshan. He gets a meeting with the Lord before the creation. So that time, like Lord Brahma asked, it's actually Vishnu. So he asked Vishnu 3 questions and 1 request. So he asked, what are your spiritual and material forms? What are your spiritual and material energies? How do you interact with them? And then, I'm going to interact with with your material energy. How can I stay protected? I don't end up in pride and so on. So Vishnu tells in a very cryptic language, that cryptic language, that he has a spiritual form which exists forever, and this universe is his material form. And then, then he has his Yogamaya, which connects in the spiritual world, and Mahamaya, which connects in the material world. And then comes to how the Lord interacts with the material and spiritual energies. Their Lord's response is, he says, nothing. I don't deal with this material creation. I don't. And he even gives an analogy The analogy he gives is, you know that everything comes from this Panchabhuta, material elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, everything. Like, the book, the place, the we are on the phone or computer, all these things come from earth, water, fire, air, ether, the Panchabhutas. So Panchabhutas, they're involved in everything that is created, everything and everything. At the same time, they also stay outside as a earth, water, fire, air, ether, as a static elements. So basically, Krishna's response is, I don't deal with this and I do nothing, with this material creation. But know that I'm very active in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, devotees are worshiping with a lot of love, and I'm way busy trying to have loving exchanges. It's way busy. I don't have any other time, any other thing like that. So then that brings to the question that, that we also hear that Krishna comes time to time to establish, dharma, and he's compassionate. He gives the shastras and so on. Then how do we take it that, he doesn't deal with, um, how do we take his response that he doesn't deal with metal energy at all, and that he's giving his analogy that he's like a static, like the Panchabhutas, they're everywhere, but they don't bother, how they were used, or how, they don't worry about anything. They're just static. So how do we take it that Krishna is also so static, but at the same time we hear that he's sending the Shastra, he's coming as incarnations and so on. And the response is that he is coming because his pure devotees, they're coming from the spiritual world to this material world to attract, guide the people back to the eternal place. When they were doing so, they were feeling a fire of separation from Krishna. So that no one can do, no one can fulfill that. So maybe I can go, I don't want to distract. There's a nice pastime in this relation, but I'll stay here. So no one can do it. So Krishna comes to have loving exchanges with his pure devotees. That's the reason. So those are the two thoughts that were coming up, to inspiration that sprouted up reading this text in the purport. So this text is like a change of route, change of the discussion. Brahma is going to respond in the unasked question, and he's basically telling, what is this material creation, my dear Narada? You have to hear the Lila Avataras, and then you Lila Avataras, like, they're way wonderful, they're fresh in my heart, they're going to take away all the full accumulation, full matter accumulation in the year. And he's going to tell about each avatar in the next chapter. And each avatar is actually going to be explained further in the rest of the whole Bhagavatam. And so the point of discussion here is, so much emphasis, so many acharyas are working hard to give us a literature that's the sweetest and fullest satisfaction and so on. Yet, we are attracted to it. That's the reason we are discussing on the phone now. But we do have other distractions. So somehow or other, we practice the austerity, like that of given in the Nectar of Instruction, where Rupa Goswami says, for a person who got jaundice, and the cure is the sugar candy. But in the initial days, when he's still with the disease, the sugar candy will not taste sweet, but actually, in fact, it tasted bitter. But and Rupa Goswami's recommendation is continue. Similarly, let us all continue. Although we are not getting a taste, or we are not feeling, or we are getting distracted with other things, let us, keep the Bhagavatam nearby. Let's open the Bhagavatam and so on, instead of going to this WhatsApp videos and statuses, or Facebook WhatsApp videos or statuses to this Bhagavatam. Let us exercise that muscle of believing and trusting the transcendentalists like Lord Brahman or the Muni, Asdev, and so on, and the Lord, and so on. And somehow or other, um, that's what I'm trying to apply. I haven't applied yet. I want to apply that. Somehow or other, exercise that lethargy or distraction from the mind or stuff like that in, coming to this transcendental literature, taking shelter, tell to the Bhagavatam, I'm so distracted, I'm so tired, or whatever it is. And that way exercise, at least that's my sankalpa. That is something from today's verse. You all want to add, add more sharings, Matajis and Prabhujis?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for reading and sharing, Prabhu. So when you uh, read this verse, two things stuck to me. One is in the purport. Prabhupada is talking about the two. What did exactly say? Um, they put forward many theories. No, before. Yeah, I mean, I mean, everything is energy of the Supreme Lord, either in one way or other, right?
Mm.
So, but people take interest in. I mean, people doesn't know, but people take interest in one of the energies, right, and get sunk into that.
People know it and still take an interest in those energies.
That also there. People like us. Yeah, but some people say I'm atheist, right? But still they get into that. But yeah, people know it and do it, and people doesn't know it and do it. But either way, people does it,
Mm.
right? I mean, people. I mean, it is the energy of the Lord at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people say that I am not believing in God, right?
Yeah.
Or I am an atheist, or I don't know if God is there or not. But
Mm-hmm.
still they get attracted with that energy of the Supreme Lord. I mean, as Brahma was talking about in the previous verses, right? The creation and Prabhupada's purports and all,
Mm-hmm.
how the creation happens. But
Mm-hmm.
then the problem is that I mean, if people doesn't know it and doesn't realize it, it is the energy of the Lord, and then giving appreciation to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But getting
Mm-hmm.
sunk into that, then I mean, people, if then that is the problem, right? Prabhupada is talking about what do you say, that they take more interest, no, before that, scientifically the devotees of the Lord mm, disconnect from the relationship with the Lord. They put forward many theories of creation in the name of scientific research.
Yes.
Here,
Yes.
yeah, here the problem is that people doesn't know it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but they got into it and they got sunk. So
Yeah.
they're getting away from the Lord, though they're acting under the energy of the Lord, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not coming towards the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, if the other way, I mean, if you talk about the maybe either Sankhya Yoga or even the Bhakti Yoga, both,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe one is in the acting in the both are acting under the energy of the Lord. I think they both know it, right?
Yeah.
But they come toward the Lord because I mean, maybe one is slow, the one is the elevator path, as Prabhupada mentioned. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about that, Prabhu. I mean, every one of us, right, either know it or not know it, we are acting under the energy of the Lord.
Yeah.
It is better to, I mean, realize that or accept it, and
Yeah.
then act under that.
Yeah. That is the part. No, there's the whole discussion is there is, Purusha Sukta is also coming. Krishna tells you, see anything not related to me, know that it's a
Yeah,
Maya.
yeah,
But that's also interesting fact, right? But it's also hard for the people to believe
yeah,
that how this wood and the cement is coming from from the Lord.
yes,
So they cannot take it. So That's the
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah. The other part, Prabhu, from the verse as you also studied. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the first word,
Mm-hmm.
Pradhanyata, right? Chief.
Mm.
I mean, he
Mm.
talked so much about the Lord, but then again, he said, "I'm going to explain about the
Yeah, the chief
important,
activity. Yeah.
yeah, conditions." Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, of course, whatever we heard, I mean, in the previous verse only, I think about Lord Shiva and all, everybody, right, doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they draw the energy, right? So from him.
It's my personal appreciation from the Bhagavatam. Um, since a long time when I was reading Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam brings Krishna out of this metal creation we are seeing actually.
Hmm.
The metal advancement, the inventions of this iPhone or this thing or in drones or in all this technical advancement covers that. Even the conception of God is covered in the school. But the sweetness of the Bhagavatam really protects us by telling there is Krishna behind all this, and it brings Krishna out actually.
Yeah.
And then if we can proceed until the 10th canto, if we can get Krishna out of this material creation and then go to the 10th canto, then we will not need any other things. Yeah. Right, Radhikuni Bihari Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how did you know I wanted to talk?
No, I'm asking you, like, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, Prabhuji, wonderful discussion. Thank you for opening up the floor today for the discussion. I agree with what you said, and in observations that Lingaraju Prabhu made. So we are the Tatastha Shakti, and even in the Tatastha Shakti, we discovered that there are three categories now. One who know Krishna and follow Krishna. One who don't know and who do not follow Krishna, and then the other one is who knows Krishna but does not want to follow Krishna. So I'm in that category where I'm struggling. Like I always look at my
That
phone.
is kind of contradiction, Prabhu.
Why, Prabhuji?
Because if you're telling Krishna and doesn't want to follow Krishna, that is actually...
Yeah, I agree, Prabhuji. I'm more like we are getting the message. I am getting the message.
Because the
But I'm
reason
not
is,
understanding it.
Krishna's power will get impacted.
Yes, Prabhuji. So it is like the knowledge is coming, but not willing to make the surrender, take the shelter. Not, it's all partial, so tatastha in tatastha, that sort of a, so I actually wanted to ask you that question, Prabhuji. Like even when we say take shelter, generally the message we get is shelter is one action. Once you do it, you cross over to the other side. But to me it looks like taking shelter is an everyday activity, every minute, every second. That is one question I had. Then the other question is, when you mentioned Krishna doesn't interact with the material energy, but he still comes down to the material world. But whenever Krishna comes down to the material world, he's actually not interacting with the material energy. He's interacting with all the living entities.
Okay.
So, and he doesn't have any, desire for the material objects.
Yeah.
So, if you can expand on both of those,
I will not touch the second part, Prabhu. So I would suggest to read the purport for Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, when there's a Eda Eda Hi Dharmasya Glanim Bharata. That verse purport, Prabhupada explains. You can take it from there, Prabhu, because it was just my appreciation, and that is a little bit there's a little bit crypticism or cryptic thing involved in that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. I mean, there is a subtle meaning involved there. I don't want to put it out publicly in the YouTube and all those things.
Okay,
So,
Prabhuji.
For the first one,
Mhm.
what is it? The first one, Prabhu? I missed.
Surrender, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Surrender.
surrender is it looks like a daily thing and in a mini thing like that, right?
Yes.
Uh, not able to agree to it because on the reference of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur,
Mhm.
he says he only recommends SS3 Sandhya Vande Guru Shri Charnaravindam.
Mhm.
So, he doesn't say all the times, let me glorify my spiritual master who's a representative of Krishna.
Mhm.
Remember all the time. He doesn't say like that. He is only telling SS3 Sandhya, 3 Sandhyas.
Mhm.
And even in my the training I received, little bit, whatever I received, little.
Mhm.
So I was always encouraged to do a conscious application, not the doership application.
Mhm.
So doership application means like I'm going to get it. It's like Mother Yashoda, tries to bind Krishna,
Mhm.
and her thing is I'm going to tie him up no matter what.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, Krishna will say good luck. Then he'll, even with Mother Yashoda, he let her try 900,000 ropes.
Mhm.
If he can survive that much effort, but she was the one who was doing the tie by tying the belt every day, and when she decided to do like this, he didn't let her do for 900,000 ropes. So
Mhm.
many examples, it's really just a very wonderful philosophy. You cannot buy Krishna without things.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
yes, people like Hiranyakasipu did like a great austerities. That's so much so that ants were coming and biting him, and the fire was coming out, and the bones are sticking out. Nobody
Mhm.
else can do like that. But Krishna is not going to be, uh, purchased with that kind of austerity.
Mhm.
But yeah, he will be purchased by a different kind of austerity, that is following the pure devotees' instructions and
Mhm.
trying to cultivate mode of service and trying to be in a endeavor and mercy part. So
Mhm.
in this metal world, like you hard work and you can get it. So that's how it looks. I mean, that doesn't mean like we should not hard work, but
Mhm.
know that we are only
Mhm.
know that Krishna is not going to be purchased by that hard work. Yes,
Mhm.
it does help, but we can do hard work, but that doesn't
Mhm.
get the results. He is not obliged to
Mhm.
give results. We are having a similar discussion this week that when we read the Tadvidi Pranipatana verse,
Mhm.
you go to Tattva Darshini who has seen the truth,
Mhm.
and then you do this, um, Tadvidi and Pranipatana Seva.
Mhm.
So it doesn't guarantee that spiritual master is going to bless you. I mean, fulfill whatever we are looking for.
Mhm.
It's he's not obliged to it. They are transcendental. Krishna or his representatives, no way.
Mhm.
But if we have that mood, then we may be able to be blessed and realized. But from their side, there is no obligation. From our side, that mode will help. So that's the way it is coming to know, Prabhu. Like it is not in one's capacity
Mhm.
that they can do everything. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur recommendation is 3 Sandhi. If you can do 3 Sandhi, that's great. But even I was trying to do it in one time, at least 1 second a day, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji. Okay. Yeah. I'll try to remember Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's one of our acharyas in the lineage, because it's quite daunting and challenging, Prabhuji. So
Yeah, so that is the the challenging part, you're telling that as a, you're not attracted and so on, so on. But you have to accept the reality that the challenging part is the practice.
Yeah.
So everyone is practiced to go one way, and Krishna is telling, no, you cannot get me like that. You have to do this different way. So there's a new practice. So and that is where the struggle comes. The old practice is pretty strong. It is built up. The muscle is built up, but the new practice, the muscles are not built up. So then, but we also know that by this practice, so many years we have been chanting and Bhagavatam and so on. It's working. So we have to similarly practice the other muscles also. Okay. It is better a conscious cultivation. It is better a conscious exercise of the muscles, of the endeavoring and depending on the mercy. So then everything will open up. But otherwise, people actually don't do practice. They bring their material conception and they say, I want Krishna now. I'm going to chant 16 rounds. That's it. I'm going to see Krishna. So first of all, they cannot chant, and then when they're not able to chant, they'll think I'm such a demon and this thing, that thing. And Krishna is just looking there. He's not saying anything. We are the one. People are the one telling themselves, they're judging themselves, demons and all those things. And then process doesn't work and so on. So it's a different science. It's not the same science.
Okay, Prabhuji.
That's the reason Brahma is telling here. Leela Avataran Purushasya Bhumna. So there is a different world, my dear Nard. I'm going to tell this. They're the different adventures. Apai apiyatam karna kashaya soshan. It will cleanse away the previous practices, or it is said here in accumulated mundane filth or something like that. So yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Chintamani Mataji, please share something. After that is Sundari Leela Mataji and Priyanka Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and all devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. The foul matters accumulated in the year, it's like that is the representation of all the distractions. And I mean, even while listening to Bhagavatam, there's so many distractions, so many. I mean,
sorry to interrupt you. I was thinking we don't need to go for ear cleaning.
We need to go. I mean, that's just representation of all the distractions, the brain cleaning, something, heart cleaning, everything is needed. I feel, Prabhu, it's so difficult to stay focused in spite of knowing, in spite of hearing so much.
How do you say like that, Mataji?
It is so, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm just so contaminated that I just can't focus on. Yeah, I really need the cleaning. In fact, as you were talking about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Trisandhya, could you repeat that a little bit? Because I think my mind kind of strayed away for a little bit. I could not.
Prabhu was telling it looks like I need to practice my shelter and surrender in minute to minute and moment to moment and so on. I was just referring that Vishnu Chakravarti did not tell that, Pratikshana and Prati Nimisha. He was only telling, the 3 times a day, remember and glorify. And I was telling, even I was trying to practice 1 time a day, at one moment a day.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is while I'm saying all this, about my distractions and all that's so hard to focus. Also, I wonder if I'm trying to, this whole topic of complacency, right, which Guru Maharaj always talks about and attacks, and I think that's part of it. And the other thing is, as I think about it um, I think about using my efforts to to kind of overcome that, and again, that's the wrong way. I was just listening to a lecture where a discussion about Draupadi, and why didn't Krishna kind of destroy Dushashan and Duryodhan right there? Why did he wait? And the response was that if he did so, then how would Draupadi surrender to Krishna? Then Draupadi would not have that opportunity to really call out to Krishna with such surrender. So yeah, so I guess I don't know. I guess all these contaminations and
I
how
was also having a question, but when you're saying I'm contaminated, doesn't it look like an offense? It kind of feels like that to me. What is everyone's thought?
Oh.
What is the question, Prabhu? How do I?
Mata is telling she's contaminated.
Okay. I mean,
Isn't it an
distracted, right?
offense?
Distracted. That's what.
Distracted maybe is okay. She said, I'm so contaminated, she said. Right, Mataji?
I said probably that's the cause. The contamination that I carry from all the conditioning that's causing the distraction.
I'm finding it like like an offense, because someone comes and tells to our child, you're a contaminated child. Or actually, let's say it differently, not other person. There's a parent and child, and then child is feeling, I'm so contaminated. How does it feel to the parent? How does it feel, Mataji? It's not good, right? Like, I don't, the parent also feel incompetent and all those things, right?
Yes, Prabhu. I have nothing to say. I mean, I don't think I'm qualified to say. I know that we learn that through all our conditioning of many lives, of many experiences, there is that level of contamination. So that's what I can point to, and not pointing to Krishna as being incompetent or anything.
Yeah. I mean, but that's right. The child is not pointing to Krishna, but it comes like that, no? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Is that an offense or something? That's the reason of that is reference. And other reference I'm having is like, we are thinking we are fine. We are telling ourselves we are contaminated, and then if someone comes and says to us that we are contaminated, do we have the same response? Poor self, no? Our self really like working hard.
I mean, other than the fact that it's probably a universal truth.
What is the universal truth?
That we all have some level of contamination. I mean, I may be more than you.
Everybody makes mistakes, and Krishna is not barring for the mistake. Krishna is not telling, you made a mistake, that's it, you're never ever going to come to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I think he's still allowing us to do many things, but I think we need to give a little bit credit to him.
Yes.
Or something like that. And I think we also need to be a little compassionate, because yes, we made the mistake, but it's still the body and then whatever it is, the consciousness is helping us to bring to the spirituality, I think. Right. It's a open call. And it's not that thing to go the discussion over it, but yeah, just a quick thought. That's all, Mataji. In any case, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
for your overwhelming enthusiasm and determination. You're really like a warrior. You're so busy and so responsible person, but you still your heart and attention is on Krishna. It's so inspiring always.
You're Prabhu, you're you always see more than there is. So it's your heart, really. I'm not.
Okay, we'll come to final sharings, Mataji. Sundarila Mataji is the best. And then we'll have this wonderful wrap up of Krishna Katha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. I'm sorry I joined in the middle, but still I got the essence of the verse. There is no other thing other than surrendering to Krishna. He's supplying everything to us, but what we are doing to him, we need to just pray for him and surrender onto Krishna. That's what I got through and the happiness, everything is unlimited until we surrender to him. Actually, I could relate to my example, Prabhuji. My kid went to dorm this year. So he is here. He is in Krishna's abode. He chose to dorm. So there is other way, like he's asking, like, I need a bed. Okay, we supplied it. So the same thing I could connect back. Krishna gave everything in Golaka Vrindavan, but we wanted to go come out.
I was thinking we can connect the similar way, no? That instead of working hard on the surrender.
Yes, similar way. He
has
given everything.
Krishna gives given this material thing, this thing, that thing. He is even encouraging our false ego, whatever it is. We can connect like that also, no? Because he's the one giving the ahankara and those panchabhutas and metal parts and everything.
Yeah, it is hard
because for the person like
because we are reading Bhagavatam, we could connect back every situation. So I think this is really good, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Prabhuji, can I say something?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, particularly this discussion between you and Sundarleela Mataji, two or three verses behind, like Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada mentioned something, he gave a warning saying, Krishna is not the order supplier. I think Mukunda Prabhu spoke about it, so that is what came to my mind when, both of you were speaking. Krishna provided that and this and all of that. But yes, there is something that we have to do on our side. He's not just an order supplier. That came to my mind, Prabhu. Yeah.
Awesome, Prabhu. So enlivening. Thank you for all your, devotion to Srimad Bhagavatam. Please bless me also. You're really exercising, your muscles to come to Srimad Bhagavatam daily. It is so inspiring. I really want that inspiration and blessings. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So the chat message.